Hey everybody! How is everybody doing this morning or night or afternoon, wherever you are? Let me know where you guys are viewing from. I'm always curious about that. Let me know if you can hear me, if I sound okay, if the music's too loud. I think I hammered out all the details, so things should be good to go, but yeah, welcome! How's everybody doing? Hi, Red Scorpion! And I saw we had Isabella and is it Shell Neelin? Does Shell work? Hello, hello! Hi everybody! How are you doing? I do have a playlist of like copyright free music, which means I will probably have ads kind of throughout. Hopefully I can try to skip them whenever I can, but I like having some music on, and yeah. Oh, 107. Oh no. Yeah, we've been getting some heat here in the Bay Area that I can't do it. I love cold weather and like rainy and all of that a lot more. So I figured I would sort of jump into explaining what we're going to do today. This is possibly going to be kind of the new thing for us here on YouTube for live streams. I've been considering having, thank you for the subscription. I've been considering having these live streams possibly on Friday instead of videos, depending on my workload. That's just gonna work for me a little bit better, but for now I wanted to test out Tuesdays. I still live stream over on Twitch every Wednesday afternoon at 3 p.m. is typically when I live stream. Sometimes it's 2 depending, Pacific Standard Time, because that's where I am. But for YouTube, I like to just kind of come on here and hang out with you guys. I feel so blessed for having this audience here. We've just hit over 4,000 subscribers, which is crazy to me. And I did want to mention, I mean, we're still right over the 4K, but at 5K, I'm going to be doing an international giveaway. So if you're interested in that, tell your friends, have them subscribe, and all of that. Ooh, Portugal! Oh, I love live streaming and being able to talk to all of you and all over the world is so cool. So for today, I wanted to kind of play around, do something kind of playful, kind of art challengey, and I do have my camera here. I'm gonna try to film it and possibly have this be a video that goes up on the channel eventually, but you guys are here live, which is fun. And I have been wanting to jump on the train of the Wish art supplies, which I know I'm a little late for. I know Chloe Rose has been doing a ton of them and hers are so fantastic, but I haven't seen anyone really talk about the art markers through Wish, and so I kind of did a crazy thing and decided to buy, basically do a random art marker challenge, but have Wish pick out the random colors. So if any of you have been on Wish and have looked at art supplies and stuff, you might have seen that sometimes you can find like a single marker for like $1 or less. Sometimes they're like closer to 60 cents, at least here to the States, and it's random. And so what I did is, some of them you can pick one here or there, but I decided to just pick as many random markers as I could for me to get free shipping, which ended up being like 25 markers. And they are just a complete random assortment. I've only glanced at them to make sure that that's what they were in the packages. And I figured I would do a little bit of like an unboxing and kind of reveal the colors, test them out. Here are some of my other marker colors just to kind of give you an idea of the range I'm kind of used to using. And then we were going to try to create an illustration with every single random color that was sent to me. So I thought that would be really fun. Like I said, I'm going to try to record this and have kind of a more clean cut version of this up on my channel on a speed paint if you guys are interested in that. It seems like a lot of the brands are the Touch 5 brand, which I am interested in checking these out because, as many of you might have known, I have done a marker review of the Parkour markers, which I have them swatched out here. And I noticed when I was looking at some of the Touch 5 markers, it seems as though a lot of the kind of color names and numbers are the same as the Touch 5 markers. And I have a sneaking suspicion that these are the same ink, the same basic marker that's rebranded for different brands. And if that's the case, if, say, you buy the Parkour set, or I am thinking the Touch 5 and the Wooo might be the same ones, I'm not sure, but a lot of those cheap sets where you can't buy refills or you can't buy individual markers, say you really like this blue, if you run out, that's it, right? Like, you'd have to buy the entire set. But if you can go on Wish and buy that particular color, that might be a way for you to supplement that. Excuse me. I woke up with a really dry throat, so I don't know how well I'm going to be doing with talking today. Let me catch up on chat. It's a brand. So the Wish ones are typically Touch 5, but I think some of them are a little bit different, but they're the cheaper-ish brands that they're selling for about $1 a marker. Can you... Oh, you want me to do a left-hand drawing? I've thought about doing that. I am right-handed, so doing like a non-dominant hand drawing, I think that would be really fun, especially since I can talk a little bit about being right-handed and being left-handed as a creative, and kind of from the brain perspective, which hand is sort of controlled by which side of the brain, since many of you might know that your right side of the brain is typically more the creative side, whereas the left hand is more, or left side is more analytical and thinking, and controls how you speak and understand language and things like that. Math, stuff like that is more on the left side of the brain, but the way things are wired, they're wired to the opposite side. So a lot of creatives you'll see are left-handed, and that is a direct wiring into the right side of their brain. I am right-handed. I can draw decently with my left hand, but I don't practice it very much, and I think it would be a really good exercise to sort of exercise both sides of my brain. So I think I might want to do that in the future for sure. So for these kinds, any of the really cheaper, especially when you can buy like a set for fairly inexpensive, they're almost always going to be a chisel tip and a bullet nib. Sometimes you can find brushes, but typically the cheaper brush tip ones are not going to be great. There's this brand that I picked up from Michael's a while back that claims to have a bullet and a brush, and their brush nib is not flexible at all, and I've noticed that even without a lot of use, it just doesn't age well. It seems like the ink kind of gets stuck, and this is like my least favorite brand of cheap marker if anyone's interested. But yeah. When did you start taking drawing seriously? That's a good question. I've always done art. I really didn't take it seriously as a career until about 3 years ago, maybe even 2.5, depending on kind of what you mean by serious. Me actually pursuing it was 2.5 to 3 years ago. But I've been doing art my whole life, so... It's not like I sort of started late in the game. I always had a little bit of the art background, which was helpful. Have you read Betty Edwards' book? I haven't. Which book is that? I typically have little post-its or something where I can take notes, because I feel like I always get great ideas from you guys. Or suggestions. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump right in. My idea is I'm gonna just sort of like, I have everything in the packages still. Like I said, I only glanced at it and it was a long time ago, so I don't really remember what colors I have. And my plan for the challenge is to have to use every single of the 25 markers, which is actually kind of a lot. We might have some repeats, hopefully not, but I have all the packages here which have my address, so they're gonna stay back here, and I was just gonna sort of take one out, one at a time, reveal what we have. We'll do a little swatch and see what kind of random markers Wish decided to send me. I felt like this was kind of a fun, cheap art supply, Wish art supply kind of challenge, so hopefully it'll be really fun, and you guys can help me when we create. I just have like a little 5x7-ish piece of cardstock that I usually use for marker drawing, and so I figured you guys can help me come up with something to draw with all of the colors. We'll swatch them out first. I figure coming up with a concept after we see the color palette might be a little bit easier. So yeah, I think I'm gonna catch up on chat real quick, and then we're gonna start pulling, and I'll show you what I have, and we can see what we can make with it. I'm planning on staying on for at least 2 hours, but honestly, we're gonna go until it's lunchtime for me. Whenever my body is ready for lunch, we're gonna be done, but it won't be for another probably 2 hours. Hi, Tessa! Hi, Nikki! Can you do sometime in the future you're drawing progress? Oh, like showing older stuff? Yeah, I really need to organize a lot of that. It's kind of all over the place, but I do have a lot of old artwork, and I would love to kind of show sort of the documentation of where my style has gone and kind of where I was as an artist as a child versus in school versus now. I think that would be really interesting. That's a really good idea. Could you give some advice for having a career as an artist? That's a really broad question. If there's something specific, I could sort of discuss a little bit. But I'm gonna get started with pulling these out, and then I'll get caught back up on chat after a few markers. So let's see what Wish randomly sent me for marker colors. I'm gonna try to create an illustration with it. So this is kind of the first package. What do we have? We have black, the color I use probably least often. Especially now. I basically don't use black at all anymore. So this is a touch light, might be light. Twin Marker is the brand. Oh, they do have a website. I'm curious to kind of check that out, because again, I was mentioning, I'm pretty sure this is going to be the same ink. If you see here from the Parku markers, I have their numbers and name, and that is the exact same numbering here. So I'm pretty convinced this is going to be the same ink, which is fantastic for you out there that are interested in starting off with markers but want cheap refills too. You might be able to buy individual markers from Wish, because I did random ones, but I did find ones where you could pick out particular colors if they had them in stock. So that is really interesting. So black, we're gonna have to make something with black. All right, I have 25 of these to get through, so I'm gonna jump on into the next one. This is a different brand. I don't know. Color Marker. I've seen that brand before. Is that shorter for something else? Number 3203. So this is a completely different marker. I think this is the only one that is like this. I think for the most part, they are going to be the Touch 5 or Touch Lit or Light, whatever these are called. And so, oh, I did want to mention that, again, we have a bullet nib as well as the chisel or broad, which is, for reference, almost exactly like these parkour ones. And I suspect like a lot of others. So, yeah, we have black. This seems to be some sort of, lemon yellow is this color, and it just has 35 on it. We have a chisel, and then I'm pretty sure it's going to be bullet. Yeah, bullet. This actually seems like a fairly small bullet, which might be nice for details, but... So let's try not to look too much. What do we have? So again, black and yellow. Not colors I use a ton, but that's a challenge, right? So here's a Touch 5. I'm not really sure how different these Touch ones are. They seem to be roughly the same. I mean, the barrel's a little bit different. There's like a little teardrop shape here that I suspect is to help you pull off which side is, you know, pull off the cap. It also seems like these ones have a bit of a gray. This has a thicker gray line to show you where the fine or bullet nib is. So this is a cool gray CG2, which, again, I'm going to look at my parkour mostly because this is the only full set of cheaper markers that I've purchased. And this appears to be Cool Gray 2, which I don't have as a part of this set. I'm actually really curious if different brands sell different kind of, like, this is part of a fuller set that whoever manufactures and makes the ink for these. And if you buy the Touch 5 ones, or maybe some of the other ones, maybe you'll get some sort of like in-betweens of these colors. So, Bumblebee colors, yeah! Hi, Visual Mind, how are you? So yeah, I'm curious. So this is going to be a cool gray. Again, we have the bullet nib and the chisel. Yeah, so interesting. Obviously this black one I already have, if it's the same ink, which I'm pretty sure it is. Let's go with the next one and see if we get any others, because it would be really cool if I could find more colors that's sort of in this range that I could then have a more complete set. All right, where's the next one? I'm trying to be kind of surprised. Ooh, orange. These are like my favorite colors. Sarcasm. So here's another Touch 5. The cap again is pretty different than this gray one. It has sort of a texture on it. But again, these little kind of color chips are pretty similar, and this is 23 orange, just like the parkour one, so I'm pretty sure this is the same marker, just, or at least the same ink in a slightly different barrel. Bullet and broad, and it does seem like the bullet nib's a little different. Interesting. So this one, this gray, I don't know how well you can see that, is a little bit longer and it seems a little bit more pointed, which could be more helpful. So it seems like they just kind of have differing nibs a little bit, but again, Touch 5, twin marker. This one doesn't say either way what kind of marker it is. I don't have any other Touch 5s, so I'm not really sure how they differentiate each other and why there's kind of different names, but maybe some of you know. I'm good! By the way, I'd love to know, do these live streams from a technical aspect, yeah! Yeah, I do have my video that I had go up a few weeks back, more of an overview, but I could go more into the technical things. Oh, you do have these markers. Yeah, Isabella, that actually did happen with one of my parkour markers. I was swatching them out after I filmed my video, and one of them I pulled really hard because it felt really stuck, and the entire barrel came out. And, you know, to be honest, I'm not super surprised. They are fairly cheap. They're cheaply made. That is kind of what the business they're into, is to make something that is affordable. And it is all alcohol ink, which means you can use it with Copics, you can use it with just about anything. And, you know, you're paying less, and you're going to have a less stable barrel, so that's something to keep in mind if you want to spend extra money to make sure that you have a really solid product. These aren't necessarily that sort of thing, but if you only have so much money and you want to get started in markers, you know, you have to sort of weigh the pros and cons. How do I practice to improve my drawing skills, and do you still Yes, I've actually been trying to practice even more now that I've been taking it more seriously. Mostly sketching. Routine is, I haven't talked about it yet because it's still sort of in flux. I'm still trying to improve, and part of the way I do that is by doing monthly challenges, so like Mermaid, Inktober, things like that, depending on what you're interested in doing. Can be really, really helpful. Mostly because that gets you to practice it regularly, as long as you don't put so much pressure on yourself that when you miss a day you just quit. That is the opposite of what you should be doing. Even if you can only do half the days, still try to stick with it. I don't like this song. Okay. All right, let's pull out some more. This is gonna take too long if I talk all the time and not look at these markers. I'm trying to be surprised, which is why I'm looking up. So yeah, throw out ideas. I heard Bumblebee, because we have a gray, a black, a yellow, and orange. Okay, this one's sort of sealed, so I'm just gonna open it. Some of them I just sort of peeked in to make sure that that's what it was, because I had ordered other Wish items. I did want to be surprised, but I wanted to make sure that, you know, things didn't explode, or I wasn't missing some of the products that I had ordered. Okay. Oh, you're spoiled. Can't live with the cheap markers. I mean, it's definitely, it depends on where you're at with your marker skills and what you're interested in pursuing. I am still very much in the sort of cheaper marker phase. I have some Copics, and I plan on in the future, when I purchase more markers, they're going to be Copics or better brands. There are a few brands that I like, but I still, since I do love watercolor and I am doing digital and a lot of other things that I'm investing my money in, I need to be a little careful. So, all right, we have another Touch 5 that seems to be similar to the orange. This looks like red. This looks like scarlet. Sorry if this is really loud. I didn't realize it was going to be packaged individually. Okay. So this is Scarlet or 13, which again matches my Scarlet number 13 on my parkour markers. I will probably take a few of these and just swatch them next to each other and see if they really are the same ink, because I'm pretty convinced they are. Ohuhu, the only cheap you've tried. I feel like Ohuhu is another one that I'm pretty sure if it's not in this camp that has the same like numbering and ink, it's very similar, and they're pretty much, they seem to be all about the same. Again, a lot of them are apparently the same marker, but they seem to be about the same quality across the board. So if you prefer, you know, Copic over Ohuhu, that's I mean, I think anyone will. It's just a matter of how much you want to invest, because they're just, Copics are expensive. I have had that happen to me with my Copic markers, where the marker comes apart. Oh, okay, see? So I think that that can happen to anything. I think it's probably a little bit more common with these ones, just because they are made cheaper. That's what it is. All right, this one's also wrapped up. So some of them, they were random, but I had the choice to pick white versus black, which I literally have no idea why there would be white or black, why that would matter. They seem to be the same exact marker, so I don't, if any of you have the Touch 5 markers or one similar to this, is there any difference to the black or white? I just picked randomly black or white just so I had more of an array of things, but have you played with the Artify markers? I haven't. They do seem very similar to these kinds of cheaper markers. And I probably am not going to pick up any more cheap markers just because I am pretty convinced they're almost all exactly the same. And again, I want to start investing more in Copic and better markers. So this is 21 Terracotta, which, let's see here. I don't have terracotta on here, but if we're going with my theory that these are the same, like, ink range, this 20, I mean, the numbers don't really mean anything at all. 21, although, would kind of fit in the oranges if this does make any sense, which it doesn't really. So we have a brown, terracotta, kind of a warm brown. And it seems like this is one outside of this range, but again, probably the same full range. Copics are expensive. You can either buy like 5 Copics or 60 cheap markers for the same money. Yeah. Oh yeah, the Winsor & Newton brush markers. I do have a couple of those. Well, I guess a set of 5 or 6 that I got. These are, I feel like these are pretty expensive here in the States, but I did pick these up while I was in London. So I really like these. I like the brush is very similar to a Copic. And they did have, so there's the brush marker and the, what's the other one? Because there's the other one that has the bullet nib. I specifically got the brush marker. They're more expensive, but I've been liking using them. Okay, let's try this one. Okay, I like this color more, at least. This is more in my range. So, okay, Touch New. So, we have a Touch Lit, Touch Light. I feel like it's light because there's 2 eyes. Touch 5 and Touch New, which they all have the same font or very close. Why Touch New? What does that even mean? Anyway, this is 68 Turquoise Blue, which I have that here on my Parku markers, so I'm pretty sure I have this color already. Markers have, yeah, the brush nib. So yeah, again, I do have some other markers that aren't Copic that do have brush nibs. Like I mentioned, the brush marker from Winsor & Newton. If you are in the UK and possibly other parts of Europe, this is going to be a little bit more readily available to you. And the markers that I started with that I don't hear a lot about are these Marvy Le Plume markers. And these are only one-sided, which I don't care because they are brush. And these I picked up for under $3 a marker over on Jerry's Artorama. Not sponsored. I would love to be sponsored by them, but they have a really large range. I couldn't tell you exactly how many colors, but I started with sort of hand picking out a bunch of pastel colors, and that's how I got started with markers. So I actually really like these. I don't think there's refills, but that could have changed. But they're the permanent alcohol-based ones. And the brushes are a little bit softer than the Copics, which I like for certain projects. So it sort of depends on what you're looking for. And I think that's it. I do have some chows as well as the, what are they called? The regular Copics as well. All right, let's keep going. I'll try to catch up on chat. The Winsor & Newton ones have the best ink. Even the ones without the brush tip are great. Very cheap. Nice. Yeah, Letraset was what they were before, right? Found that helps. Yeah, I like the brush nib as well. I mean, I'm a painter, so I always knew I was gonna like that. I'm trying to use the chisel nib a little bit here and there, especially if it has a fine enough point on one of the edges. I can get sort of nice clean lines, but it's sort of hit or miss. Problem is I can buy a Copic and have it at my home for 2 days where everything else, but and it's not going to blend quite the same, but I mean, those are permanent markers. I'm not actually sure what their ink is exactly, or the makeup of that, but okay. So we have another one in some plastic. This is a black Touch 5, just like this one, and we have 32 deep yellow, which, okay, I have 31 dark yellow and 33 melon yellow, so I'm pretty sure this one is supposed to go kind of in between these two. Interesting. So this will be a slight variant to what I already have, more than likely. Another yellow. We have a very warm palette going on here. So, all right. Are those Touch New and Touch 5 the same brand? I think so. Like I said, this first one is a Touch Light, I think is what it's called. This seems to be the only one that is pretty different. But everything else has a very similar barrel. In fact, oh, look at this Touch New and the Parkou pen. They're exactly the same marker barrel. The caps are exactly the same. This image is printed a little smaller on the Touch New marker, but I'm pretty sure this is exactly the same barrel, and they just print whatever brand they want. So, all right, I'm pretty convinced that these are the exact same inks. Ooh, I have a couple markers in this package. When you started working as an artist, were people around you, friend and family, supportive or not? If not, how did you deal with it? I'm asking because I want to be a tattoo artist. I have a lot of respect for those doing tattoos. I don't have any tattoos, but I've been wanting multiple tattoos. The problem is I always want to design them myself, and then it's never good enough, and so it just doesn't happen. So I luckily have been supported since a very young age. I was always given art supplies, and my dad's side of the family were all very creative, but honestly, I felt like society kind of got the better of me, and so I went down a different path, studying psychology, which I really love, and I am excited that I have a future in that career as a therapist as well, but it took a while for me to convince myself that I could do this as a full-time thing. But I know within the tattoo community, I feel like there's a ton of support within those communities. So you might want to seek that out if you're not finding it at home. But let's just say no one's surprised that I'm doing freelance art right now. I do have some ex-friends that I have heard have said some things behind my back about not pursuing the career that my master's degree is in currently. But that's sort of their own issue, and we're not really friends, so it's fine. So yes, I did buy these separately from Wish. What I did is sort of a random marker challenge where they send you one marker for basically $1 or less, and free shipping. I did free shipping because I bought so many. I ended up getting free shipping. That was sort of my goal, which is why we have so many. But my idea was sort of a 3-marker challenge where you pick it randomly, but the company is picking it randomly. And I'm going to try to make something with every single one of these colors. So these are separate, although I am getting a few markers in a pack here and there. And I think that's because it ends, even though they're different listings, I try to do as many different listings as possible to order from. But I do think a lot of them were the same company or same, maybe not company, same distributor that had multiple listings on Wish. So, okay, we have another Touch New, which this is the same exact barrel as the Parku markers, and the same exact color as the Parku markers. Actually, Vivid Pink 6. That is the exact same marker. I mean, right? Look at that. Are the tips the same too? This one looks lighter. Maybe the ink is slightly off. That could just be because they batched the ink separately. Like this cap could go to either one of these markers. Interesting. Well, we have a nice sort of vivid or hot pink to add to our color palette. This is gonna be something. Okay, we have another one that's similar to the Parku ones. The Touch New seem to be exactly the same as the Parku, at least the barrel. And this is Phthalo Blue. Interesting. That looks nothing like Phthalo Blue in my mind. That looks like cerulean, or like a warm, softer blue, which phthalo is typically a cooler blue, and I don't think I have that on here. This is what, 183? I don't even know where that, 183? It goes up to 120. Interesting. Okay. Could you tell us how you price your art, if you don't mind, because I have no idea how to price mine. Pricing is always going to be a difficult thing to get. You're never going to have one straight answer from an artist. Like it's not like we're keeping the answer away. It's just a matter of what you feel comfortable with and doing your own research. And I think the toughest thing is giving yourself permission to be worth what you are charging for people. I know that's not really a direct answer to your question, but I think a lot of us get hung up on making something, feeling like we like it, but then looking outside of ourselves at other artists and thinking, well, it's not as good as that, so I must be bad. Or we get very personally attached to our stuff, and so if we have a little bit of self-doubt or self-esteem issues, I know I do, that is one of the hardest things to get over, to believe that you do deserve to charge for your work. And so I would suggest looking at, you know, it's going to be different from country to country too, and state to state, possibly, of what people are charging for their work. But typically you want to be selling for some sort of at least a minimum wage, if not more, for every hour you are working on a piece. That's a good starting point. You might want to, I wouldn't try not to go under minimum wage, whatever that happens to be for where you live, but you can go higher the more you improve, but you don't want to go below that as much. But you can be on the lower side if you feel like you're still building your skills and stuff like that. But don't expect to get to this certain point where you're going to be a fantastic artist, and that's when you can finally start charging enough for your art, because that you're always going to be improving, and it's important to value you right now and pay yourself what you deserve. So I would say talk to other artists that you might know, and especially if you feel like you have a similar skill level to them or similar artwork to them, see what they're charging. Maybe they don't know, and you can kind of like work on it together. There is a specific book. Where did I put mine? A lot of artists have mentioned this book. Let me go get it real quick. So I'm not sure if this is strictly for like a US kind of thing, or if it's kind of a worldwide thing, but this is something I picked up. This one in college. This is the handbook Pricing and Ethical Guidelines, and this is the 12th edition. I think they're up to like word, and it has just a ton of information about, depending on the art you do, whether it's, I mean, this is animation, typical salaries for different animators. There is a whole bunch about illustration, and it gives you a breakdown of at least general pricing of what professional artists are charging, and that'll give you a better idea of where to start. Typically what I do with my commission work, I will charge some sort of wage per hour I know it'll take me to finish it, and then based on size, I sort of create just a simple kind of guideline of like, for a 5x7 it's this, for this is this, and I have very specific guidelines of what my commissions are so that I know exactly how long it'll take me. So I hope that was helpful. That's the second time. Yeah. A lot of artists will talk about that. I got that while I was doing my illustration or my 2D design kind of undergrad college courses. That was a book that they had us get. I can't say that I've used it a ton. A lot of the stuff I found has been online, so I don't know if you need to get that book, but if you like having text to look through, and that might be something to look into. Yeah, hopefully that was helpful. Let's get back to pulling out some markers. We have how many? 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm pretty sure I got 25. All right, we have another touch 5, and this seems to be cream. Cream is 36, which I don't have here, so I think it'll be kind of an in-between of these two colors, sort of. Again, these colors don't necessarily make a whole lot of sense, but this looks like it'll be probably a kind of yellow. So we have a lot of yellows. So be thinking of themes of what we can be drawing with a lot of yellow. Oh, you just got that book? Okay, good. I buy a lot of reference books, but I end up spending way more time just looking it up online half the time. So it's sort of hit or miss, I feel like. So this is another packaged one. Let me try to take the plastic off. I've never sold a painting before, and I'm about to set up an Etsy store. Now finally, yay! Yeah, I've been wanting to revamp my Etsy store because I have a lot of products that just aren't on there, and I've honestly avoided it because it's just a lot of work to put all the listings up. So I just need to do it though. So we have another touch 5 in a black color, and bronze green is this color, so I'm pretty sure it's going to be this one, 42. Yep. So we have another green at least. It's a very warm kind of olivey green. Alright, let's do this one. Here's another touch 5, the white one that is grass green, 47. Looks like it's going to be that color. We have another green. That's nice. The greens and the yellows we can sort of mix together, so. But Visual Mind, I send all of my good vibes your way as you set up your Etsy store. I know it can be really overwhelming, but a lot of it with Etsy is learning about hashtags and what people are searching for, and actually changing that regularly depending on what people are searching for on Etsy, and try to hit words that and keywords that aren't super saturated. So if you know, the term book is pretty common, you'll want to find something a little bit more specified that still, you know, talks about what you what your product is, but it won't get lost in the sea of everyone else who has book as their tag and has probably been doing it for a lot longer, and so might have a higher listing. Yeah, if that makes sense. All right, we have another touch new, but this is the black. Which was the touch new? Oh, it's these ones. It's the black version, so it's basically a black parkour marker, more or less. And we have CG3 Cool Gray. So that's, I believe, this color. And so far we haven't had any repeats. Hopefully we won't. We have another one in this package. I honestly think that those black markers look kind of luxurious. Yeah, especially when they have the sort of shiny black for their, I guess it's the barcode is sort of a silvery color. They just are shiny. All right, we have another vivid pink, of course. The second I bring up that we haven't had any repeats, we have our first repeat. So this is going to be a very pink marker painting, I think. All right. And that one's empty. Here we go. Oh, this has like 4 in here. Any advice how I stop obsessively buying art supplies? Don't go to the store. Like, there's a grocery store I've been going to that's next door to a Michael's. Resist going into Michael's. Unless you have a very specific thing you want to get, don't just kind of wander in and browse. Browsing is not good. The other thing is practice gratitude for the art supplies you have. The more you're buying art supplies, the less you're using what you have, and they're just sitting there and collecting dust, and how sad is that? Think about how exciting it was when you got the first art supplies you have, then appreciate them and use them. That's what I've been trying to practice more, is sort of gratitude for what I have and being grateful for that. Sounds a bit... Yeah, SEO. Yep. Basically, it's just a little bit different for Etsy. There's a paid version, but I know there's a free version of what's called Marmalade. So it's like marmalade, but lead is the end. Is a website you can get information about your Etsy listings. That might be something you want to check out too. Yep. Gratitude. Gratitude's a great medicine of a lot of things. It's one of the best things for anxiety and depression, because we're being grateful for what we have rather than either yearning after something else and feeling bad about it, or, you know, not appreciating ourselves. Like, having that gratitude, it's not the easiest thing, but it's definitely worth trying to build a habit around. Okay, so we have another one of our luxurious black touch 5s, and this one is chocolate. How appropriate. This is number 92, which looks like it's going to be between this sort of natural oak and this brick brown. So don't have this color yet, so that's nice. I now have 3 of the vivid pinks though, so luckily I really like this bright pink, so I'll use it eventually. Michael's is heaven. I'm from Europe and we don't have it here. Went to Michael's when I was in New York. Yeah. Michael's is okay. I feel like it's more crafting oriented. But it sort of depends on what you're interested in. Okay, another kind of orange, light orange. Do we have light orange? No. Hopefully this is in fact a lighter orange to that, which would make blending the light and regular orange even easier. I feel like whoever makes the full line of these colors really likes orange, because there's so many reds and oranges even on this sheet, and I'm getting more. So this looks like it could be like a skin tone. And when we kind of unwrap all of them, we'll do a bit of a swatch and I can kind of show you what we have. Pale cherry pink, so that's this color, I believe. Ooh, I think we're getting blown out a little bit with all these white markers here, but it's sort of a, like more of a pinky peach color. And that's another touch 5. These I think are all going to be the same thing. I'm a washi tape hoarder. Yeah, I have a lot of washi tape too. All right, pastel yellow. I remember this being one of, it looks, there we go. This looks pastel, but this is more, it's more of a warm, pretty saturated color for being pastel. Yeah, lots of yellow. This is gonna be a very yellow illustration. Okay, we're done with this one. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 19. I think we have about 6 more, if I counted correctly. I only got this many because it ended up being free shipping. So I did only pay $1 or slightly less. Some of them were like 80 cents. Ooh, this one looks like it may have leaked in the package. Oh dear. It also looks like it's this pale pink, which again, I don't know if I would call that pale. Alright, hopefully this doesn't make my fingers all... it looks like there's ink on the side of this. It's hard to tell on the black. Hopefully it dried and it's just permanently on there. You can see a little bits on there. So yeah, pale pink, I think we have. Number 9, another touch 5. So pinks and yellows, and then orange. So, yep. I'm going to draw something while listening to you. Okay, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I like to lurk and work on things in live streams on Twitch a lot. So, oh boy, we have another yellow. Oh wow, I was like, we went a long time without having an audio ad. That was nice. That was short. I don't know how much you guys can even hear the music. I have it pretty low. It's more for me, I think. Okay, so again, a touch 5. I'm pretty sure these were almost all marketed as touch 5 markers. They weren't necessarily, you know, saying they were Copic and then you get these, so that's at least good. And this is lemon yellow, which we don't have here. Maybe the lemon yellow is going to be more of a pastel. That would be nice. Okay. That one's empty. Just have a big mess over here now. Oh, this is in just like a little Ziploc bag. Looks like we have a blue. That's nice. Okay, another touch 5. Mint blue, which I think we have. Or do we not have mint blue? Oh yeah. Oh, that's mint green. Okay. So this is something I don't have. I wonder how similar that would be to the mint green, which again is kind of dark. I feel like this is more of a mint green, but pale green makes sense too. Okay, mint blue. Hopefully that'll be like a nice sky color. We'll see. I know, I mean, Copics are better, but these chips are never what the color actually is. All right, seems like we have 2 more markers, I think. I don't know if that makes sense with the math. I'm trying to get through it so we can actually make some art. Oh, nice. There's a blick sort of near me, but it's far enough away that I haven't gone. I also don't need anything specific, so I'm trying not to buy a lot. All right, here's another one in a little package. What am I going to draw with these markers? That is a great question. I am taking ideas from chat. If you think of anything, throw it out. I'm not exactly sure. It seems like we have a lot of kind of sunsetty colors, and I mean, we can mix the greens and blues a little bit to create a wider range of greens. I obviously would prefer to do something plant-based, but we'll see. So here we have a pastel peach, which I don't have. I wonder how, that seems really light. That might be a nice skin tone. I don't really draw skin very often, but yeah, I don't think I have that color. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So maybe I have 20, it might be 24. I'll check my packages again. I don't have Blick in my city. Ooh, 3 hours away. That's rough. Okay, we have another black touch 5 that is barely beige. Interesting. That's also not on my little list, so I feel like we have a lot of skin tones, which, I mean, that's great for some people. Okay, so let me look through my packages and make sure I didn't miss anything. Looks like we might have 24. It's probably me just remembering incorrectly how many I've purchased. Oh, it is 25. I missed one. Okay, one last one. All right, another touch 5 like this. And we have Napoleon blue, which I do have here on my parkour set. So that's going to be a pretty dark blue, which is nice because it seems like we have some lighter blues. Okay, let's swatch these out, shall we? We have a little bit of cardstock. Yeah. I'm gonna swatch these out real quick, and yep, that's black. This one I'm not sure about. Do any of you know this brand? I've never, even the shape of the marker is really strange. Oh, it also doesn't indicate which side is which is pretty frustrating. Okay. Try to keep these in order for me down here so I know what swatch is what. I'm gonna label them. That's a nice gray. It's pretty light. I feel like that's just a little bit lighter. Yeah, a little bit lighter than this one, which is nice. I mean, it's cool gray 2, where this is 3, so that's actually nice. Okay. This is orange. That is orange. Yep. And then scarlet, which is a really warm red. Yep, that's scarlet. And this is terracotta. That's a nice, actually that would be a really nice skin tone as well. A warmer brown. There we go. Try to not have this as blown out. So you can see the colors a bit better. So this is turquoise, which I believe I already have. Ooh. This is very dry. I wonder if both sides are dry. Yep. Bummer. Alright, I can try to use this color, but I'm curious. So here's my Parkour turquoise blue. That's what color it's supposed to be. This one's, I think this one's completely dried out. I might be able to add a little bit of alcohol to it to see if it'll revive it, but I'm gonna keep my Parkour one on the side in case we want to use that color and this one is completely dead. You should do a snake, butterfly, or butterfly would be really good because then I could add a lot of different colors, and the oranges and reds and yellows for like a monarch would be really nice. I think I might do some butterflies. It's kind of a darker mustard. This one is deep yellow, which I don't have. Vivid pink #1 is okay. It's getting better. It's feels a little dry. I wonder if these are markers that they're just getting rid of that have been like in well, that's better. They've been like in a warehouse for a really long time maybe, and so they're drying out. This one is phthalo blue. Again, that's more of a cerulean. That one is cream. Bronze green. Grass green. It feels like it might be starting to get a little dry. The other ones have been fine though. This one is Cool Gray 3, which again I think is the like step up from this one. Yep. So I can do a nice gradient with the gray. More of the vivid pink, which maybe it's good I have 2 of them. That one's nice and juicy. I feel like the vivid pink always goes down really bright, but it should be the same as that one. Bumblebee and a flower. Ooh. That could work. This one is chocolate. Pretty dark. Muted kind of a brown. This one is light orange. That's a pretty orange. Like a peach almost. We have the light or pale cherry pink. These ones would actually be really good to shade with or make a gradation with, because they're pretty similar. I'm trying to do the swatching pretty fast just so we can get to the art making. So this one was the pastel yellow, which seems to be exactly or very close to that. It'll dry a little bit lighter, I think. I wouldn't call that pastel. Just saying. Here's the pale pink, which is really dry, probably because all the ink came out of it. Okay, well the chisel nib is pretty good. I wonder if I can kind of set it up like this. I'm gonna set it in my pencil cup upright to see if I can get the bullet nib to come back. This one is lemon yellow. How is that different than that color? Even compared to that one, they're pretty similar. Yeah, they do dry out super fast. That's true. I definitely think if you can't afford and have the patience to wait and get Copic markers, having them be reusable, you are definitely wasting a lot less plastic, for sure. Maybe some of them can be refilled with rubbing alcohol and make them pastel color. Ooh, that's a good idea. I think I'll do that with some of my drier markers at some point. I don't think I want to do that on stream because I feel like that'll be a complete mess. That one's nice. This one is the mint blue. So this is what I would call a sky blue. They do have in the Parku set, this is sky blue, which seems way too dark. This is actually a really nice color. I like using this color a lot. Okay, we have a couple more. This is the pastel peach. See, another fairly pastel color. That's pretty nice. Kind of wish this had more actual pastels, because I tend to treat these more like watercolor, so I like to start really light and then build up the color. We have Barely Beige. It's a little on the dry side, but there's ink there. These two would be really nice to blend. And then last we have Napoleon Blue. Yep. I mean, most are pretty juicy. It seems like we had 3 of them that are pretty dry. This one, I don't know that it's going to be usable at all, unfortunately. But, I mean, they're $1 or less a marker. That's, you gotta weigh what you want to do, I guess. I'm gonna quickly label these on my little color sheet, but while I'm doing that, take a look at these colors and let me know what jumps out at you. I'm feeling the butterfly. Maybe I can add bumblebees and flowers in there too, and make a piece kind of like that. I think that might be nice. But yeah, I'm gonna label these really quick so I don't get them mixed up. So this one's pretty similar, but this is also a different brand, so I'm not too concerned about that. CG gray. Orange. 13. Scarlet. 21. Terracotta. I think I also want to put a little star by ones that I feel are kind of missing here, but are probably a part of the same overall color range. So terracotta I don't have. Cool Gray 2 I don't have. Orange I have. Scarlet I have. Black. And then lemon yellow is that other brand. The turquoise blue I do have. And that's 68. 32. Deep yellow. I don't have that one. This is 6. Vivid pink. 183. Phthalo, it's a weird word. Blue. 36. Ha. This says cream. This says green. I noticed that with some of the parkour ones too. Only one of the sides says it just slightly off. Bronze green. I do like this grass green color. I don't know that I would call it grass green, but that's okay. CG3, which I do have. Cool gray. Vivid pink. Again. 92. Chocolate. White orange. 140. I actually think this is more of a pink almost. I mean, it's an orangey pink. I actually like that color a lot. 135. Pale cherry pink. That's such a weird name to me. Pale cherry pink? Wouldn't you just pick a different fruit that isn't pale? I don't know. I don't name colors, so. Pastel yellow that isn't pastel. Oh, did I? Where did I put that other pink? Alright, well, this one is 35. Lemon, yellow. One of them has already gone missing. I like mint blue a lot. I think that'll be our sky. 26. Pastel peach. 29. That one's different. Pastel peach is also different. Barely beige. So my current theory is that we have some manufacturer that's making all of these inks for cheaper markers, at least for a lot of these cheaper brands, and Parkour gets this set. Ohuhu or something else has a different set that has some crossover but has some different colors. Because I think I was looking at the Ohuhu markers. I think I mentioned this in the Parkour video, which I can link below if I post this live stream. I think I remember seeing the chips and the numbers matching, but not all of them, and so I think the Ohuhu ones are a different set that has like maybe half of these and then half new ones that Parkour doesn't get to have. And so there's a little bit of I guess less competition because you would need multiple brands to then get the full set. And I'm not sure if maybe Touch 5 doesn't have some of these that the Parkour one does. I'm not super sure. That's my current theory. Okay. I feel like this one went missing. Where did that go? One of them has already left. Hi, is it Febe Puppy? I'm gonna call you Skyla, because that's easier for me to say probably correctly. I think it depends on how quickly you use your markers. If you leave them uncapped, obviously they're probably going to dry out pretty fast, but the more you're using them, you know, there's only so much ink that can fit in these barrels. But if you do miss out on certain colors, if there's a particular one that you're using a lot and you want a replacement and you want a cheap way of doing that, I would honestly look into the Touch 5 ones and see if you can find what I did, where they have them listed. I did the random ones, so that's why I have a random assortment here, but some of them you can pay $1 and pick one marker and you might be able to replace that one color. Hey Serene! How are you? I store them horizontally and don't really use them. Oh, okay. They dried out anyways. That could be another point for wanting something that has a less cheap barrel. Because I know one of my parkour markers, actually the cap on one of the ends is sort of misshapen, so I don't think it gets a super strong hold. And so it will probably dry out faster. Okay, but seriously, where did that other pink marker go? Did I set it? Oh, I put it over here. Of course. Silly me. I wanted to try to get more ink to the tip. Yeah, that actually worked quite a bit. So this one's in here. And that's the pale pink 9. Pale pink. Which I do have a similar one to that. So here are all our markers. Now that I have them labeled and swatched out, I can mix them up a bit more and make it easier for you to see them. We'll kind of put them off to the side here. And we can work on sketching something out that we can color. I'm doing just something fairly small, which is probably not the best thing because with these bullet nibs, it's hard to get a lot of detail, but that's how I'm gonna do it. So Serene, what we're doing is I ordered markers from Wish, and what you can do is you can buy the, I believe most of them are labeled as these Touch 5 brand, and you can have them send you one for like $1 or 80 cents. And it's completely random. And so my idea was I got enough to make shipping free, which ended up being 25 markers, and I am gonna attempt to make a piece of art with these random markers, and most of them are the Touch brand. Some of them are Touch 5, Touch New, Touch Light. I think there's a different one as well, and then there's one that is this STA or STA, which I feel like I've seen before, but I've never seen this marker before. But pretty much all of them are the Touch, some sort of Touch one. And they are very cheap markers. I was just discussing that I am more than convinced now that all of these cheap markers, or at least a majority of them, are the exact same ink, and they're just labeled differently, just like these parkour markers and this Touch New are the exact same barrel. So my thing is, if you have these cheaper brands and you run out of one, say a certain color, you know, these cheaper ones don't sell refills, but if you run out of this color and you really like it, you might be able to go on Wish and get one of the listings where you can actually pick out, not have a random one, but have them give you this color if they have it in stock, and you might be able to basically replace one marker rather than having to buy, you know, 60 or however the sets come. So right now we're gonna sketch out something and try to use something with all of these colors, because these are the random colors that they sent us. We have a couple that are fairly dry. This one is probably not going to be usable. I might try to refill it with some alcohol, rubbing alcohol later on, and see if I can extend it a little bit, but I might just use my equivalent because I do have that color in the parkour set. And yeah, this is totally not the color scheme I typically go with, but we're gonna try to make something. I think we're gonna do some butterflies and flowers, but I can keep this sort of in the top there. Move the camera just a little bit. There we go. So you can see the colors I'm using, and we're gonna kind of sketch something out. I actually need to, I am filming this, so let me quickly get set up for, I think I'm gonna actually stop recording. And this memory card is just about full. And we're gonna see, I'm probably only going to film the actual coloring portion, and the drawing portion will be here live with you guys, depending on what time we have. 40 minutes. I might not get, I'm definitely not going to finish this by the time I'll need to leave to have lunch, because I'm going to get hungry here soon. But I can at least get started on it, and then I'll have a video come out where you can see the rest of the coloring. So let's see what we have on this memory card. Give me 1 sec, guys. Okay, looks like I can erase everything on here. Let me just quickly set up my camera. And I'm actually going to probably move this a bit out of the way. Oops. While we sketch, and then I'll probably start recording again when I add the coloring. Or start coloring, I guess. Don't really feel like bashing a brand, but I might actually do a video about a Wooo and give them a bad review. Just don't want people to waste their money. Yeah, I mean, I sort of always suggest these things if you are willing to be okay with the drawbacks. I'm trying to do a little bit better with my reviews, but I want people to know what the actual drawbacks are of any particular thing, and try to be as neutral as possible. But if you feel really passionate about it, I think you should do it. Well, there's a lot of people where I think Wooo has sent them the markers, and so unfortunately, as much as YouTubers say that, you know, they're impartial to a brand, I mean, I was sent the parkour markers, and my review is fairly, I mean, positive, because I don't want to bash them, but I also understand what they are. They're not Copic. They're not super high artist quality. The great thing about alcohol markers, though, is that as long as they're alcohol based, you can mix them with anything. So you can use, and I do use, cheap markers alongside Copics, because no art marker is going to be light fast or last hundreds of years. They're going to be really sensitive to light. That's just how the medium is. They're dye based, not pigment based, like watercolor, which can be a lot, I guess, higher quality in the fine art world. Markers are not meant to be that, and so you can have cheap markers as long as you're willing to possibly have them dry out faster, or the barrel being, you know, less than great sometimes. But I just want to give as many facts or things I've noticed as possible, and let people kind of decide from there. Yes, which videos are. Oh, you do have some of the Touch New markers? I'm pretty sure they're the same exact ones as parkour markers. Like, the Touch New ones, the barrel's exactly the same, so that's some food for thought. Let me get caught up in chat, and then we can start sketching this out. Markers. Yeah, so you've already figured out that they're the same. It's the same ink as probably all of the Touch markers, to be honest. I think actually the video that I'm filming now, where I make this illustration, I'm going to go into even more depth, kind of what I've been talking about here, of comparing side by side. This is the same marker. So if you, I would hate for people to buy a set of Wooo markers and then buy a set of Parku markers thinking they're going to get all new colors and have a ton of repeats. So if you feel like you have the Parku set and you want some of the missing colors, you can buy them individually on Wish or other places. Possibly other places. Wish is the only one I know you can buy individual markers, so. I understand. I use them very often. This. What camera do I use for YouTube videos? I use the Canon Vixia R700. It's a camcorder. I wasn't looking for a camcorder specifically, but it does have a flip out screen on the side, and I can use it for vlogging and things like that. This is the same one in Liquid Color has. I actually got this because she has the same one, and I liked the quality of her videos. So I use that. I do have an attachment for a wide angle lens that helps if I'm vlogging, because a camcorder up close, like, it's like just your face, and so if you want a little bit more background without having it on a stick, you would want a wide angle lens. But I use that, and I have, this is a mic, whoops, moving that camera, sorry. This is a mic arm by Neewer, N-E-E-W-E-R, and then I have a particular attachment that attaches to cameras instead of a mic. So that's my setup. I have it on this sort of cube unit thing. I just have it clipped there along with a different light that I use sometimes, and I can just sort of move it wherever I want and it's out of my way. I think that the Parku All Touch brand markers and a Wooo are the same manufacturer. Yep. Yep, that's exactly what I have concluded now. Post on Instagram in case. I will probably post this to Instagram, but again, I'll definitely have a video of this up when I finish coloring. But I will post to Instagram if I feel like I like how it turned out. I've been trying to keep my Instagram fairly on brand, I guess, and some of these challenges with these colors aren't going to match as well, and that's why I suggest following me on Twitter and, you know, here on YouTube. I'm going to show kind of more behind the scenes and things that I don't feel like necessarily fit as well, but is more of the me sort of challenging myself. Oh yeah, see? So, Serene, you know. Okay, bye! Okay, let's start sketching. I'm gonna get some reference. I think we're gonna start with kind of a monarch butterfly, because these oranges and yellows are just so beautiful for that. So I'm gonna do my usual, get up my app, caffeine, that, oh, that's not going to look great. That keeps my screen awake. And then my other app, Pixabay, for reference photos that I know are copyright free. So I can copy it as much as I want and sell prints of this if I want, and totally legal, I guess. Oh, you have the R600? I don't think there's a lot of difference. I'm actually not sure. I was sort of in between, but there wasn't a big price difference when I purchased this, so I just went ahead and got the newer model. I think there's an 800 now, though. Okay. Monarch butterfly. These are pretty. Well, you're not going to be able to see very well. Actually, this one, where it's on sort of a bright yellow and red flower, I think you're going to see it better on here than here. Yeah. This one's pretty nice. I might kind of go off of that, but I think I do want a little bit of sky and stuff, but the black, the orange, yellows, things like that, I think are gonna work. So I just have to figure out kind of the composition. I think I'm actually going to, this is a little bit bigger than 5x7. I think I'm going to add a little bit of washi tape to create a bit of a border. I do that with watercolor. I've been wanting to do that more often because I love having the white border. I feel like it makes it seem more like art. That's silly. Feels more professional, I guess. Where did my, oh. So I think this is a 5.5 by 7.5 piece of paper. And so, is this half an inch? That's pretty close to half an inch. I'm just gonna kind of add this tape just to mark off a bit of a white border. Is there a big difference between, I guess if you're going from the 600 to the 800, there's probably a little bit more of a difference. I don't know what makes it different other than it just being a newer product, I guess. Have you researched it at all about what makes at least the 600 versus the 800 different? Because I'm not all that sure. I actually started filming on a DSLR. I have a Canon EOS 5 or EOS, hold on. So I started filming on this because I was like, I need a nice camera, and I can use it for photography as well as video. And so I spent quite a bit on it. What's the model again? Oh, it's the Rebel T5. So it's not a super new model, but it's still nice. It's a DSLR, and I started filming videos on this for my artwork, and realized that a lot of these cameras, at least here in the US, have a limit of how large a video file can be, or I think how much time it is, because if it takes video continuously, then it's a video camera, not a picture camera or something. And so it ended up stopping every 11 minutes or so, and I had to restart it every single time, and sometimes I would forget if you get lost in your artwork, and that frustrated me to no end. And my camcorder ended up being fairly inexpensive comparatively, and so I have this. Sometimes I'll use this for if I want more depth of field in my videos with a camera on me, if I want the background to be a little fuzzier. I don't always set it up though. But I do sometimes, and I know I'm only going to be talking for so long. I'm not going to want to film a ton, so this makes a lot more sense, but yeah. Okay, Tessa. Yeah, let me know if you research it, and let me know what is different. I'm curious. But that is what I use for filming. And then I have a webcam for live streaming. Some have asked me if I can use this camera for live streaming. I don't know. I think you can't, but I am really not sure. I had bought the webcam before I bought this camera, so I didn't need to know that. Okay, I'm just gonna add this little border. Is anybody else working on some cool art stuff? Also, how are you guys liking Tuesday for these YouTube live streams? Like I said, every Wednesday I'm over on Twitch, so I'll be there tomorrow. Not exactly sure what we're working on. I might work a little bit more on my emotes for my subscribers over there, which are different than subscribers here. Character design stuff? Cool. Are you developing like some OCs for like a comic or something? I never super got into character design, just because I went down the more illustration path, which I felt was more... I feel like we were taught more editorial stuff, so spot illustration, which is less having a character and more just illustrating what prompt you have or what article you're trying to make an illustration for. Hey Lana! How are you? Hi Eve! How are you? I know, isn't the kitten really cute? I don't think it works for YouTube, but over on Twitch, when people say hi, I didn't see it, so maybe it did it, but when people say hi, it'll say hi back, which is really cute. A lot of this carries over from what I've set up for Twitch, and obviously I have it set up differently here, so we have subscribers down below, and you can see the view count and stuff like that. Comics and manga and stories, cool. Alright, so I have a little border. All of you that are new, we are doing a bit of a wish marker random challenge thing. You're tired. I'm pretty good. My coffee finally kicked in. You know, it's almost 1 already, but you know, we're good. I'm used to live streaming a little bit later in the afternoon, so takes a little while for me to wake up. But what we're doing is I have the swatches here. These are the colors. Some of them are a little dried out, so we'll see how that goes. But what I ended up doing was going over to Wish, and they have this brand, and I think some others, where you can buy a marker for like $1 or 80 cents or something like that, and it's random. So I bought as many as I could get to get free shipping, so I didn't pay more than, you know, 80 cents to 95 to $1 per marker, and they sent me 25 completely random markers, and I only have one that's a repeat, which is good because one of them's a little dry, and we're going to try to use every single color in an illustration. That's the sort of gist of it. I'm not recording currently, but I recorded me swatching and kind of unveiling all the colors, and once we have a sketch down, I will record the art and have that up as a video on my channel at some point. And yeah, I've been taking a few suggestions. I think we're going to start by doing a little monarch butterfly with this bright red and yellow flower somewhere in this piece. I'm doing pretty small just because I don't want it to take too long. I will likely not finish this because I'll probably get off in the next 20 minutes or so. And so I'll finish this off stream and have it up as a video. But we are trying to use every single color, which is going to be a bit of a challenge. Oh, there's a typo. Oh, yes. I fixed that on my Twitch overlay, but I didn't finish it here. I'll make a note to fix that. That's an image, I think. Wait, it might not be an image. I think it's part of the image. Yeah, so I'd have to re-upload that image. Thank you, Eve, though. Thanks for pointing that out. I had fixed that for Twitch, but I forgot to fix it for YouTube. $10 p.m. Yeah, I feel like it's a little stuck on my thing. Yeah, it shows me 17 are watching. I don't know. I don't know why it's not changing. I could maybe try to update it. It might update correctly. There we go. I don't want to have to update that all the time, though. Yeah, I mean, it's not my favorite colors because there's a lot of yellows, and I mean, yellow's fine, but there's kind of more orange red, so it's not the worst. There's actually a ton of really great sort of skin tones. Even the chocolate and this terracotta is kind of a nice warmer brown. I don't really draw people very often, so we're not going to do that, but we're going to start with these kind of yellows and scarlet and orange, and we're going to create a little monarch butterfly. Actually, the butterfly is probably going to be more of the more muted colors, and the flower is going to be bright. So let's have the flower and butterfly down here. I also feel like it's not showing me the subscribers when people are subscribing. I hear the sound, but I don't see the alert. So if you're subscribing and I don't see it, I'm sorry. Shout out in the chat and I will thank you. I'm messing with a little bit, so we might have some things pop in and out, but... Skin tone animals? Yeah, that's true. I think we're going to start with the yellows and reds. I know it's going to be pretty hard for you to see me sketching, unfortunately, but if you think of some other ideas with these other colors that we can add to this, I'm just going to have the butterfly kind of down here. And then probably some sky, because I feel like this is a really nice sky blue. Possibly have the sky fade into a sunset, because we do have these nice orangey pastels that I think would blend pretty well. And then we have a little bit of the green that can be greenery in the background, but we're still going to need to use the sort of hot pink. I might be able to do that in the flower. And then there's some grays, so I don't know if I'll be able to hit all those. I might need to add a few things. And I'm just looking down at my phone for my reference, since I do use reference most of the time. But how are you guys doing? Anyone that kind of dropped in recently? Hopefully the schedule works well. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, I may end up changing these live streams to be on Fridays in place of a normal video, just to save me some time editing, since I do have a lot of projects going on in the background for Patreon, and I am developing a few Skillshare classes, and those do take a lot of time and some editing and stuff like that, so... Yeah, I do sketch really lightly, especially on this cardstock. There's tends to be quite a bit of ghosting of the lines if you press at all. So I am typically more of a heavy-handed sketcher, and so I've basically taught myself how to sketch pretty lightly. I'm glad you can at least sort of see things. The webcam has a hard time with it sometimes. All right, Watery. have a great nap. It's so hard for me to nap. I'm not a napper. It always just sort of throws me off, I feel like. Does that happen with you guys sometimes? I have to be really, really tired to nap and it not throw off my entire day or week, to be honest. I mean, ultimately I end up trying to just get enough sleep in the first place, if I can. It's always not always easy to do, but I realized I originally read this butterfly as this being kind of the side, but this is actually a top view. Hopefully that doesn't look too weird with my composition. That's true. I do find that there's quite a few that stream on Fridays, so that was a big reason I wanted to have this on kind of a separate day. It seemed like Tuesday worked for people, but if I really am behind, I may just do that in place, because I really don't like having at least one video at the end of the week. My goal is to always have a video up either on Thursday or Friday, and sometimes a video on Tuesday, sometimes Wednesday, but if I do that, then I also want to have one at the end of the week, just so that's what's sort of expected. I want to keep to my schedule. So having a live stream on just Tuesday and then have nothing go up at the end of the week just feels like I've dropped the ball. But that could be something I just need to work through and be okay with. I know a lot of you would support if I needed to take a week off or something like that, but honestly, a lot of the time it's consistency for me. If I miss a week, it would just really throw me off. And maybe I just need to give myself permission. Yeah, see, I feel like you nap and you either wake up to your alarm waking you up and you feel like you didn't get any rest at all, and so it feels useless and you just sort of wasted that time. Or if you don't set an alarm, you wake up and now it's dark, or it's that weird time where the sun's setting and you don't know if it's morning or nighttime, and it really throws you off. I do not like that. Okay. So we have our little butterfly down here. I can quickly put in some of the shapes. Oh, my tummy's starting to growl at me. Must be lunchtime. Probably gonna simplify this just a little bit, just to get the point across. But this way we'll be able to use our black for the butterfly. I think that'll work out really well. Perspective on this wing is a little off, but that's okay. just want to get the major point across. I want it to be recognizable as a butterfly, but I don't mind too much if the colors are a little bit, or the shapes are a little bit off. Okay, so what do we have behind this butterfly? What colors do we want to not miss out on using? Yeah, the heat messes with me so much, especially for sleeping. It needs to be fairly cold for me to be able to sleep at all, or it keeps me awake and I get really grumpy. I'm going to darken these lines because I'm pretty happy with where they are. I'm really simplifying this just so we can color it, because if I did all the details I wouldn't be able to get the color in there, but you can kind of see where that's going. So I'm probably going to want to have another point of interest out here. I was thinking about adding more flowers, but I want to make sure, I'm not sure where we're going to put this blue. I guess if we have greenery back here, we can add that to the green to make it kind of a deeper green down at the bottom. I was kind of thinking of having it kind of be like shrubbery, kind of like this, and have maybe a field of a few other flowers kind of in the back here, and maybe small little specks of butterflies. And then have the sky go from the light blue and fade down to sort of a sunset-y kind of thing. I don't actually know what kind of flower this is. Do any of you guys know what flower this is? I feel like that's the main thing I want to practice more, is identifying and being able to pull more from my visual library of different kinds of flowers and things. Because I think I just get, like, I can't remember all the different kinds, and there's so many. Okay. I think we're gonna have kind of bushes here and then a little tiny butterfly out in the sky, but for the most part it's gonna be just sort of sky.
Yeah, okay. We're getting somewhere. I want to finish the sketch before I sign off. Hi! We just finished sort of swatching out all 25 of our colors. Some of them are pretty dry, unfortunately. Not a big surprise. And we're making a little piece that's going to be monarch butterflies and other florals and stuff to incorporate all the colors into one piece. So I'm trying to sketch this pretty quick so I can sign off here soon. Because I'm starting to get hungry. Because it is lunchtime. How are you? Busy at work, I'm assuming. Okay, that's roughly the same flower in the background there. So I think what we're gonna have is we're gonna have this sort of big butterfly here in the foreground. We're gonna have a few kind of flying in the sky, and I'm gonna add a little bit of maybe like leaves and other stuff. And I'm probably gonna use a lot of these colors just in combination with the greens and sort of mix to get more of a texture, possibly more interesting gradient. I'm also gonna add a bit of a leaf. I don't know what leaves these flowers have, but just for some visual interest. Eating lunch. Oh, okay. What lunch did they provide? I don't like that. I feel like I want it to be more kind of grass down here, and maybe use kind of the grass green, or possibly the mint with one of the yellows, although I think the yellows are a little bit too overpowering. And then have a bit of a different green for the sort of shrubbery that maybe has a different sort of floral in it. Maybe we can use some of the peaches. Kind of more of a hint of florals. I want it to be pretty blurry kind of in the background, because again, it's sort of like you're going to see all the detail here, and then back here is going to be sort of out of your depth of field. And so the colors, I imagine, are going to be a little bit more kind of blurry, which will hopefully make it really interesting down here. Maybe we can add another little flower. And these are going to be less detailed for sure. Oh, Mr. Pickles, nice. I haven't had that in a while. Hi, Paolo. How are you? We are just sort of finishing up a little sketch that I'm going to be
recording and working on later, where I use random alcohol markers that I ordered from Wish and picked out 25 colors, and we're gonna have to use every single color in this illustration. And I'm basing the illustration off of the colors we have, as well as some recommendations from chat. So we have a nice little butterfly with some flowers. And yeah, I think that'll end up turning out pretty nicely. It'll be pretty bright. I'm not super sure where we're gonna add some of the grays, but I think I might just add that in some of the shadows to just kind of build up some of the color. But hi, Serene. Thank you. Yeah, I feel like I wanna get a better shot of this because it's hard to see the lines, I realize. Maybe I can that's a bit better. So we have some little flowers kind of around, some shrubbery, some butterflies kind of in the air. I might add a couple little butterflies kind of around. I don't want to add too much detail, or I won't be able to get the color in there. Thank you, Paolo. Yeah, I think I'll add just a little butterfly kind of down here. It's going to be less detailed. Mostly just sort of adding to the composition. That's not what a butterfly looks like. I drew a little on the harder side, mostly because I'm rushing just a little bit. I just want to get this line drawing done so that we can jump into the coloring and get this video out to you guys. I think that's where we're gonna end today. Thank you guys so much for hanging out and talking about these alcohol markers with me. It seems like we have concluded that at the very least, the Touch 5, the Parku markers, and the Ohuhu, that are all sort of cheap alcohol marker brands, are the same exact ink. You're gonna get different colors depending on what brand you buy from. And it seems as though if you run out of a particular color, you can go on to Wish, and sometimes they have random ones, like how I picked out these, where they just sent me a random one, but other listings, you can actually pick out particular colors if they have them in stock. So something to keep in mind if you have some of these brands and you're running out and you aren't ready to invest in Copic markers. This video will be up probably in the next couple months, depending on what else I have in the works, which I have a lot planned, so be on the lookout for a video in the future. But thank you guys so much for being here and hanging out with me. I will likely do another Tuesday live stream at the beginning of next month, but if any of you are interested in hanging out with me more during live streams, where I actually listen to music that I like a little bit more, and on a more regular basis, I'm over on Twitch. I do have a link. I have it above me, but I also have a link down below in the description if you are interested. And yeah, hopefully this was fun and informative. Let's turn turn the music down because it's getting distracting. And I'm gonna go make myself some lunch. I hope you all are having a fantastic week so far and continue to have a very creatively fulfilled day or week. And I will see you guys next time. Thank you guys. Bye, Eve. Bye, Visual Mind. Bye, Lana. Alright, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!